waiting for a new book. It's hard, man. Especially if the book is part of a series and you finish the last one in the series and then you have to wait like a year or 2 years or like forever, and then you need to know what happens next and you can't wait. I am obviously a big reader. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of series. I have done my fair share of waiting. 12 years of it. In Azkaban. Like, obviously the first experience I ever had of waiting for books was the Harry Potter series. I did my entire childhood. Like, I literally was born before Philosopher's Stone was born, and then I had to wait like every time. I have to do it now with Cassandra Clare's books. I have to do it with Sarah J Maas's books. I have to do it with Lee Barduga's books. I have to do it with lots of authors and their books, and even authors that I've really loved a standalone of theirs and they're releasing another standalone, or they're releasing like the sequel. Aristotle and Dante is getting a sequel. When? Who knows? It's a stressful time waiting for books. I know that obviously they take a while to write and they have to print them and publish them, and I totally get that. I'm writing a book at the moment. I'm not just going to magic it up overnight, but just please. So, in my years of experience of waiting for a new book, I have realised that there is a process of what happens while waiting for a new book, and I thought that I'd share it with you because we all do it, don't we? At least I hope so. That would be really embarrassing, wouldn't it, if it's only me? So, the first step is finishing the most recent book. That was amazing. But it can't end like this. I need the new one now. So you finish it, it's great. And you need to know when the next one's up. So, you know, you load up the computer, you have a search, waiting to know, wait, a couple of months or, you know, just a little while. I'm ready to pre-order and get the next book. What do you mean I have to wait a year and a half? I didn't sign up for this. And then, you know, when you find out that inevitably you have to wait 50 bajillion years for the next one, you have to talk about the book. You have to keep it in your life somehow, so go around and tell everyone about it. Oh my god, did I tell you about the new amazing book that I read recently? Yeah, like 50,000 times. Why are you still telling me about it? Because it was the best thing ever and I have to wait 2 years for the sequel, so I need to keep it in my life somehow, and plus I don't want to be the only one that's suffering with the wait for it. I want you to read it and really like it and then have to suffer along with the wait with me. You're in the bubble of finishing such a good book and you need the new one, so you just have to like shout it at everyone and just talk about this book, because you can't just jump into the next world. You can't just have this new story and stay living it in your head. You have to like talk about it, keep it a thing, keep it around, so just talk about it all the time. And then, you know, when everyone inevitably gets really annoyed at you and tells you to shut up, you have to turn to other devices of how to keep the story alive while you're waiting for the next book. The internet. The internet is full of wonderful things for fandoms and people that are fans of things such as books. For example, fan fiction. That's a thing. If I am waiting for a new book, or if I have finished a book and I love it so much, fan fiction is essentially one of the first places I will turn to. Right. If I can't have the new book for a couple of years, fan fiction it is. Archive of Our Own, Emma and Julian. The amount of Aristotle and Dante fan fiction I have read while I'm waiting for this sequel is absolutely, like, I don't even want to admit to it. You also have to make sure that you keep yourself fully informed with what is happening with the writing process and in the author's life. Okay, so they are now followed. They are on tweet notifications, Tumblr notifications, and Facebook notifications. I've also managed to find their website, their publicist's website and Twitter. I've signed up for all the newsletters. I follow them on Instagram and also on their YouTube channel and their publisher's YouTube channel. And I've also made sure to follow any YA news places just in case I miss the notifications from the other pages. There is also that wonderful stage of rereading the book that you loved so much many times and pretending that something will be different, or it will magically turn into the sequel and you won't have to wait any longer. Maybe if I decide to read this again, I can just give myself more information and learn more things, and hopefully the ending won't be as stressful and I won't have to suffer, and maybe when I close the book the sequel will have magically appeared. Rereading a book just before the new one comes out is fantastic because you can actually just jump straight into it, but I've read Aristotle and Dante loads of times and I still am waiting. Every time I close that book, I hope that the sequel is out. And then eventually the final step is that you just become so consumed in this world of waiting and posting things on Tumblr and reading and writing fanfiction and stalking the author for any kind of hints and tips of what's happening with the book and the universe and wanting to know what's going on, that you basically just become one emotional big ball of book mess and just cry and just need the new book immediately because your life depends on it. So yeah, I'm waiting for Lord of Shadows and I need it. This is what this video has come from. Like, I know there's only like 4 more months, but 4 more months too long. And The Court of Wings and Ruin. And the Aristotle and Dante sequel. and the inexplicable logic of my life. There's so many. So yeah, I hope I'm not the only one that goes through these emotional stages of book fandomism. As soon as I finished Lady Midnight last year, I was just straight in there with Emma and Julian fanfiction, wanting to know what happens next. Because, you know, I can pretend that this is actually canon until I get given actual canon, and it just makes me feel a little bit better about the whole situation. If you're new here, I make bookish videos a couple of times a week, so if you would like to stick around and join us, then you can do that. And as usual, all my links will be in the description below if you would like to come hang out with me on my other social medias. Thank you guys for watching. I hope we're doing really, really well. Goodbye!